I'm Kamerie Gibson. Welcome to the Kamerie Gibson Show, the podcast. I believe that one of the most precious gifts you can share with someone is your story. Pain has purpose and stories can change lives. Your journey to become more inspired and transformed by the lives of those around us starts now.
Like a dope soul. Like when people really get to know you and like you out your shell, like, yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't even know you were shy.
Everybody says that. I'm like, girl, I used to cry when I had to speak. But I think it's like, I feel like I have something to share. I'm like, so I might even talk fast. So I'm like, yeah, girl, thank you so much for seeing that in me. Because I see the same thing in you. Very like strong woman. Of course, I have the Women Walking in Faith song, the video, the concept, and everything that came about from that. I want you to touch into and just your spirituality and your faith. I think is very fresh because a lot of people in our generation, I don't think it's always trendy or cool, you know. But it's not about that. It's about like your soul and all that other stuff. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Kamerie Gibson Show, where we talk about transforming our pain into power. And today I have a beautiful guest with me here today. Her name is Deja. Deja, if you don't mind introducing yourself to the audience for me, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Deja Brooks. Some people call me Nana. Some people call me Deja Ariel, just depending on, what path of life I met you in. So I'm glad to be here, and let's get started.
Yes, thank you so much. So me and Deja actually met at Texas Southern University. Just to give you some background, Texas Southern University was founded in 1927, I think. I think I saw that somewhere, but yes.
I have it. Let me see. Let's confirm.
Check. I'm like, I seen it somewhere.
Yeah, you're right.
I got it right. Okay, that was a guess. Okay, yay! Woo. Okay, Tigers is our mascot, and it's a historically black college, HBCU. Do you know any other history about TSU that you could share? I know for sure celebrity that came out of it is Michael Strahan. And also, where I Googled on Wikipedia, the doctor that allegedly killed Michael Jackson went to TSU. Yeah, girl. The guy that the prescription pills. Isn't that interesting? Anyways.
And then we just won the championship. That's more recent though.
Who?
TSU.
Oh, TSU did win it. Yeah, we did. You're right. You said football?
Football showdown. We won the championship.
Wow. Something happened with basketball too, right? Or am I tripping?
I don't know.
Is it basketball season right now?
Well, it's football season right now.
Right. Okay,
it was just so big because TSU hadn't won a football game in so long. So like everybody, well, that was last semester. They didn't win not one game. So they came back strong.
That's good. I'm excited for homecoming. Are you gonna be there?
I want to be there. It falls on my sister's birthday weekend.
Hey.
So she was like, "Nah, is it me or is it TSU?" And I was like,
"Wow."
Are you coming back for it?
Yeah, I'm actually coming back. Yeah, just
okay. We might have to work something out.
Yes, I think I'm coming out that Thursday, possibly.
Okay.
Whatever day that is, the 20-something. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be good to like reconnect with people and just be down there with y'all. It's a different type of vibe. But a little bit more about TSU. It was our speech class that we met. Remember our speech class? What you think about that? Remember it? I forgot.
What was his name? Mr. Professor. Oh,
he had a raspy voice. Remember?
He really didn't even much. What was it? Gregory Guillory? No,
it was something a little different. Giuseppe or something, huh? Giuseppe or something. It was something.
I don't know, but yeah, I remember in that class, we had to write poems, get in front of the class, speak.
Oh my gosh. I was so nervous. You were nervous too. But you did good. You were shaking, but you were pushing through.
Yeah.
You read the children's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you read the children's book.
Yeah.
What made you choose that book or choose
I
that?
don't know. I mean, it was a book. No, like I was a nanny at the time. So
Oh,
one of the little girls I watched, that was her favorite book. And so the fact that she was like she wasn't even 2 years old yet and she could read that book. And so it was just like, you know what, let me just bring this book. If she can read it, I can read
right. Girl, that class was kind of random though. Like I feel like he was BSing, and that's why you just
He kept saying he was like, I was supposed to retire, but TSU keep bringing me back. He said, I'm
right,
going to retire.
right. Like he should have. I don't know, but you know what? I really, when he would go off topic, that's when I liked it the most. When he would talk about his life, and remember you talked about his
Especially
wife,
his son.
his
Yeah, all
son.
that. Hmm.
Yeah. He was eating it up. I remember. But how was your experience at TSU as a student?
My overall experience was good. It just being a part of, I had to make my experience good. Let's put it like that, because TSU, and I think you done heard this before, it wasn't the TSU it used to be. So it wasn't really parties jumping off. It wasn't really no hype. All the little Tiger Walk pep rallies was dry. So it was like, okay, well, what's the difference? So I realized, when you have your little clique, your little gang, you can at least turn up with them, and so you create a different, experience that way. So I joined ERM Alliance. So I had that area. They bring out the DJs, they bring out the artists, and we just, did the ciphers together. Um, had the little songwriting sessions together. So that was like that area. Then I had her at TSU where there was more of a sisterhood. We get together, have pajama jams, go out to brunch, um, women empowerment events that we used to either host or attend together. So that was a good little vibe. And then you and I started Come On the Go. And so it was, just getting our own organization off the ground and going through the process and learning that was pretty cool and fun. So,
Yes, I
yeah.
love it. Was your family like HBCU connected, or did anyone go to
No,
college?
so I was actually the first generation to go to college. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big deal,
My
girl.
mom, yeah. My mom dropped out of school 8th grade. She got her GED and she did hair out of her house, and that's how she was getting her bread. My dad, he was locked up majority of his teenage years in juvie. When he got out, he did get his high school diploma and he did trade school. So, but yeah, first time like real life 4-year graduate student.
So, um, I could share that with you, and I know it was an experience and a roller coaster just between me and my parents. Sometimes I would be frustrated with them that they didn't know things that I felt like I needed them to know for me to get to where I needed to go, and they would get upset with me and tell me like I may not be college educated, but I still have life experience, and it was just like a battle between us, and it was really heartbreaking. But that happened more so when I was younger. But when I got older, I was like, Kamerie, like there's nothing to be ashamed of, and if anything, like you're gonna be made stronger because of this. You're gonna be able to lay that foundation for our families after, and I don't know, like it doesn't have to be a negative thing. So how was your experience like with
Yeah.
you?
No, so mine was pretty much the same because like you said, I mean, my parents never been to college. They didn't know anything. And I've always just been the strong one. I'm gonna go and make it happen. So they thought that I had it all together. And it's so crazy because my first semester at TSU, I was only enrolled in 10 credits. I didn't even know you had to have 12 credits to be a full-time student. So I had issues with financial aid. I had issues when I wanted to join an organization because they was like, you need 12 credits. And so I was like, nobody told me this. Like, it was like really frustrating. And so when I wanted to get that extra course I could be at I think it would have been 13 hours. They was like, it's too late, enrollment is closed. I'm like, okay, whatever. But like you said, it's also a lesson because now my middle sister, she's 20. She's in the pharmacy program at TSU now. So any questions she have, I got the answers. Anything she need, any place she need to know where it's at on campus, I got the answers. So I had to go through what I had to go through to be able to help her. So, I'll do it all over again, I don't regret nothing. I wouldn't change nothing.
Of course. So you're big sis too?
Yeah.
Okay, so big sis, we really tough. Like I tell my brother, my sister, so it's 2 brothers I have and 2 sisters. I take the chinks in my armor so y'all ain't got to, like I get a little bruised up so y'all get to walk through it kind of, a little smoother than I did. And it's okay. Like, but it's not easy again. And people do assume that, oh, they got it, they good.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it can be like annoying, and it can be hard not to resent people for, you feel like treating you like that. Like you supposed to like, why don't you see me? But it's also like, are you telling them? But it's, I don't know, so how have you been able to
comprehending what you're saying? And is it me? Like, is it me?
No, what you mean?
No, like you have to start wondering, like, is it you or is it them?
Right. Yeah. But how have you been able to like go through keeping your relationships good despite that? Or like
my mom and I are really good. Because at the end of the day, she supported me in the areas that she knew how. And so I can always, at least respect that. Whereas my dad, I didn't see him or his family after they divorced, after my mom and my dad got divorced. So when he divorced her, he divorced us. So my whole college experience, he was like gone. So even to the point where like on graduation, we only had limited tickets because of the COVID situation. But I still, when I'm on my way, invited him, my grandmother and my grandfather. He didn't come because he said he had surgery. But he said my grandparents was there. I sent them their tickets. He said they were there. I didn't see them. They ain't come up to me and say congratulations. They ain't acknowledged that they was there. So to this day, is he say, she say. But I never let anyone block my blessings. Like when he had his surgery, I hit him up. I said, "Do you need me?" Because he had surgery on both of his knees. You can't move. You can't walk. So I told him I'll work around my school schedule these last couple of weeks, and I'll come help you. Because at the end of the day, I know that's how that's going to make him feel bad. Me treating him the way he treat us ain't going to hurt him. That's what he's expecting. So when you're the bigger person and you say, okay, he just had surgery, and even though he ain't kicked me out of his life, I ain't finna kick him out of mine. Because at the end of the day, I'm not finna let nobody have control over my blessings except for me. So, yeah.
That's very mature of you, Deja, as well, to think about it like that. What was it like for you to have your father incarcerated? And what has it been? How has it been for you as a young woman with that relationship with your father?
So, the last time he was incarcerated, I was literally like a baby. So, he was incarcerated like teenage years, got out. Then, like, while I was a baby, he apparently changed their lifestyle. And the only thing that caused was, like, he was very, like, he had high stuff. So, I don't even know what they call, but, like, in jail, they do them tattoos, them things that be lifted off the arm.
Brandon?
I don't even know. I be like, Dad, why you got that on you? And he'll be like, oh, it's nothing. I'm like, okay. And so I see this arm and he got one over here. I say, what is that? How you do that? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So you can tell he was like irritated with the mistakes or things he did. and he'll get irritated when you ask him about it. But at the end of the day, this is part of your story, and I feel like that's a part of being vulnerable. Like, share that experience with us. It may help make us not want to do some of the things we're thinking about doing. You know what I'm saying? But he was very just like, you could tell he was very bitter because of the things he's done. And I think also too, he probably didn't want us looking at him a certain way, but we knew you was in jail. Like, it can't get no worse than that. So
Yeah, right, yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
How has it been? No, I wanted to ask, would you consider yourself to be spiritual?
Yes and no. Yes, in the form of I meditate daily, I do devotion daily, I sit there, I be still, and I listen for guidance. No, to the extent of, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. People say no, because I don't know. People say that part of being spiritual is talking in tongues and like, like shouting and
Yeah.
running around the place. I don't do all that, and I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm more like that mellow person who like to be in tune with God, and it's just me and Him. So yes, if that's but no, if it's that other stuff I just named.
Yeah. No, I get you. When people do
Your
that,
face was like,
no, I've seen it before. You see it in the movies, and I'm just like, I don't get it. But
no, I've seen it in person. But go ahead.
yeah, I don't know. I don't have those experiences either. my personal self, not just
Yeah.
anybody. But did you grow up going to church?
Yes. So not with my mom. Well, okay. So in the beginning, not with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And not my other siblings. It was literally me, my papa, and my uncle. We'll go to church every Sunday. We either go to my great grandfather's house, and that was an every Sunday thing. But I think too that was because my mom was battling her own, her own situations, her own obstacles, and it was kind of hard for her to believe in God at the time. So once my grandfather moved to Louisiana, you could tell my mom wanted to start going to church so that we all go, but it wasn't on a consistent basis. Um, as got into my teens, I started seeing stuff in the church house that was like, wait, something ain't right. And so by the time I was like 17, I stopped going to church, and I was out of church for like 2 years. And so my mom, during that time, that's when she got her divorce and she got into a relationship with somebody else. And it was a really violent, toxic situation. And I had told God, like, if you bless me with a car just so I can get up out this house sometimes and go to church, I will never miss a Sunday. And not only did, like, I want to say, like, 2 weeks later, did God bless me with a car, but He blessed me with a brand new car that didn't have no miles on it. And I've been in church every Sunday since then. And so during that same time, I told God, if you bless me with peace, I promise I will not let nobody disturb that peace. So He blessed me with peace, and I do anything necessary to protect my peace to this day.
What about church? What about, because I know it's not the people per se specifically. It's like a spirit, right? It's something maybe at the church that draws you to keep going. But what was that for you though? Because you said you saw strange things happening.
Oh, well, it was just like, certain pastors and first ladies that used to be amongst the people started becoming untouchable the higher they became and the more known they got. And I'm like, wait, this is not godly. And so after talking to those individuals, because we close now, it was just simple like, hey, sometimes you can't recognize when just stray from something or you changing, it take a person looking from the inside to, check that person and make them aware. And then, they can check themselves and realign accordingly. But even like the church that I work in now, we without a pastor because our former pastor was stealing money from the church. So it's just like, certain things. But when you always have those genuine people who keeping the church going, who's singing every Sunday, who's doing praise dance every Sunday, you could tell they are dancing from their soul. They're singing from their soul. It's those people who, help bring the presence of the Lord into the house and keep you going. It's so crazy because a friend and I was just saying that all people amongst our generation, they love Jesus, they love God. You're going to hear them say, I love Jesus, I love God. It just always comes to the Bible where people start being like, I don't believe in that. That was man reading. So it's usually like the Bible sense that's when you start seeing people astray. And don't get me wrong, I'm not Bible savvy. I'm learning the Bible every single day. So I can't just, go and say scripture this, that, and that. But I've realized amongst our generation, people believe in God, people believe in Jesus. It's just an issue when it starts coming to the Bible, which is why you don't usually see them at church, because the church referenced the Bible. But you'll always see people listen to their gospel music, talk about God. They're just not in the church. And you usually have to do with the Bible.
Right. So as a young person, because if you don't mind sharing your age.
I was 23.
23, very young woman. What encouraged you to want to work and spend your time in the church?
So actually, Professor Duncan, who was over the internship program, I think he still is at TSU. He was like, you have to have a internship, and it can't be somewhere you worked before. I was like, because he already know I had several internships, and I was really going to just go. So I said, where can I go with my schedule that I ain't got to do too much work? And so I messaged our former pastor, and he was like, okay, we'll work something out. So I came there up under the former AV coordinator. And I was there just doing PowerPoints. Really, that was it, doing PowerPoints for Bible study. And so, lo and behold, the pastor said we was lying on him about stealing the money, allegedly stealing the money. And so he went and started his own church, and the former audio and visual coordinator left with him. And so the church business manager said, well, Deja, how much do you know about this stuff? And I was like, well, I know how to do all of this. He was like, oh, that's so interesting because the former AV coordinator said, you don't know how to do nothing and we need to take you off payroll. I said, no, I do what I'm paid for. I said, do you not see how much y'all pay me? I said, would you be doing any work for how much I'm getting paid? He's like, well, no, but I thought this was the agreement. I said, yeah, the agreement as an intern creating PowerPoints, nothing more than that. And so he said, okay, I give you a week. And they gave me all these assignments to do, everything from the audio board, the visual monitors, graphic wise. And I came back in that week, sound was sounding better. We had excellent connection. They was like, oh, well, we ain't even got to go find nobody. She right here. And so that's really how it happened. Somebody was trying to kick me out the door. God showed up,
That's a good story. Oh, I'm glad I got that little nugget on here. That's really good.
Thank you.
Because you created an opportunity. You created an opportunity for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You were already investing in yourself through these organizations, the ERM Alliance, like you mentioned earlier, which stands for what again?
Entertainment and Recording Industry Management.
Got you. So what was your degree in?
So my degree was in mass communication with a focus in entertainment, recording, and industry management. And then I got my minor in radio, television, and film.
Got you. And what skills did you learn between different classes there?
I would have to say the audio side, just like audio production, live production. A lot of stuff as far as copyright, the Harry Fox Foundation. I knew a lot of that before I got there. So because my ultimate goal is to be an entertainment lawyer, but I don't know yet. But I had already was studying this stuff on my own. So when I got there, I was just intrigued on how to set up mics, how to run cables, how to just record artists. Like we literally had the booth that was there, that was put there, I want to say my junior year. And
Mm-hmm.
so like the second semester we were able to start recording artists, editing tracks. So that part was like really, really interesting.
That's really cool. What is your ultimate career goal? I know you said entertainment lawyer, but what do you currently see yourself doing long term? Do you know yet?
Right now, I love the PR side that I'm doing with community relations. In that we've been doing a little bit of neighbor relations as well as corporate communication. So I really, really like it. And then I like the fact that I'm doing audio and visual at the church. So it's like a good balance with writing and then a good balance with hands-on. My ultimate goal is to really be able to pour into my nonprofit. Our mission is to uplift, inspire, and change the lives of women through entertainment and philanthropy. So I just want to start being in a space where I can, actually do that. Put on concerts. We do our Jesus is the Cure concert every year for breast cancer, but I want to be able to do lupus. I want to be able to do domestic violence awareness. I want to be able to do like around Christmas time, hit the streets with trucks and everything and sing Christmas carols and, uplift people's spirits. So like, that's my ultimate goal.
Yes. And what's the name of your foundation again?
Women Walking in Faith.
Women Walking in Faith. I remember in speech class also, got to mention, you shared that music video that you had performed in called Women Walking in Faith. And I believe you got like a standing ovation in the class version, and it was really dope. It was really dope. Can you talk about that project?
So basically, I just wanted to create a women's anthem, and originally I didn't see myself in it. But at the time, I also had a entertainment management company, so I managed a lot of artists, models, and athletes. So I always be telling myself I can't expect something from my clients if I ain't been in their shoes. So I usually try to put myself in their shoes, whether it's with the athletes and I go on the court and just play basketball with them a little bit, or even the modeling. I did that once. That ain't my forte. So the only thing I hadn't did was the artist. So I said, okay, Lord. And so I wrote the song. I wrote the whole song, even the part that Nikita is singing. I wrote the whole thing. So it was just like, it was supposed to be a women's anthem to go along with the nonprofit and just show women of different backgrounds. We had the dancers in there. We had the basketball players in there. We had everything. And just to show that you are beautifully and wonderfully made, no matter what you do. Nobody's the same. We all different. And so that was really the purpose of it. And when I got as many views and likes I did, and people started telling me I should be an artist, I said, hold on, pause. I don't know about it.
I get that. You talented at a lot of different things. I remember, like I think I told you off the record, you on it, you're like, I know this person, I know how to make this happen. I got this going on for myself. I'm babysitting like a firecracker. And to hear about what you want to do in the future, like, I have no doubt that you're going to make it happen. And I wanted to ask you moving forward, how important your community is to you.
Oh, my community is so important. And that's why, like, I don't know if you know this, but with nonprofits, is you can support your community, but you can't support the people who also help the community going, which are like public figures and people who running for office. So whenever I'm not in a Women Walking in Faith shirt, whenever I'm not on my Women Walking in Faith Instagram page, I'm like literally side by side with the people who I know is for the city and for the culture. And that's because a nonprofit can only do so much, and you need those people to go to the funders to pour into us to do what we want to do. But, you know, I just always try to reach back down. I went to the Boys and Girls Club after school as a little child. And so I go to the Boys and Girls Club and I ask individuals who want to be a rapper, who want to be a model, who want to write music. And we have writing sessions. We do the little fashion shows once a year. And so I really love getting kids motivated. I was just talking to my professor last night because I'm getting my master's at U of H. And so, yeah, I was telling my professor, I said, you know, these high school kids, they in the digital media program at Hightower, which is where I went for high school. And we brought them on for an internship through TSU and KTSU. So it was like the Live, KTSU, and all of them. And so I'm like, what y'all want to do? Y'all want to be photographers? Y'all want what y'all want to do? I don't know. Well, y'all here. Like, do y'all want to be in the media industry? I don't know. I said, well, y'all gonna know by the end of this weekend. So it was my goal to get them active, you know, in different areas, just so, you know, they can explore their options. I mean, I'm not taking the media classes for nothing. I just think that it needs to be people who love what they're doing to make other people love what they're doing. You know, especially these kids, they don't really have no motivating factors these days. Most of the motivating factors are like money, drugs, buying friends. So somebody your friend, you know, that's usually the motivating factors. Whereas people don't see a degree as a motivating factor. People don't see knowledge as a motivating factor. So I think if we change the perspective of what motivating factors look like and show them like, this is cool. This is actually really cool. Like, I can edit. I can do photography. I can do audio. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think it just helped these kids nowadays.
Right. No, I love that you said that. Kids need to see other people passionate about what they do for a living. Because if you're not motivated, why am I going to aspire to do any of these things around me? I don't know what I want to do because that don't look like it, you know? What does your community look like? I know you said you're from Houston, Texas. So what is Houston like and what is the section you're from like?
So I'm from South Park. That area is, you know, known for poverty. You know, you walk around the houses falling down, grass high, you know, people on the corner selling drugs. Kind of where I grew up is a place called the Jungle, which is where people used to go to get beat up to get into gangs, you know, and everybody will be there watching them get beat up. We literally lived back and forth between South Park and Missouri City. And so when we were in Missouri City, you know, it's quiet over here. It's nothing to do over here. Everybody is in these big homes acting like they happy because Lord knows my household was not happy. But it's just different. I know every time I was in Missouri City, I tell my mama, I want to go back to South Park. It's boring over here. And my dad would be like, who want to be in South Park? I'm like, shut your bougie behind up, please. Just be quiet. So my mama and my daddy, they literally have two different backgrounds in the shows. And my mama would be so quick to go to South Park. And my dad, like, no, we stand right here. But I think that helped mold my character, you know. I want to say 8th grade year, I literally saw a dude get shot right in front of my face, blood going everywhere. And it just showed me, like, life can be gone just like that. And I think that helped change my perspective on life. Like my baby sister, and Lord knows I love her, she's 14. She don't know what struggle look like. She been in Mo City her whole life. And I think it's necessary for people to know the struggle. It helps. I feel like it brings a different type of character. You're not entitled to nothing. You're more humble. And it helps you want to reach back down and help your community. So, I mean, I love where I come from, regardless of what it look like, regardless of what people think about us. You know, it's home.
No, yeah. I totally love that. How has it been for you having that experience living in South Park, navigating college and like like a upper class? Like, do you see yourself as this girl from like this from South Park, from the hood, or how do you view yourself?
So that's so crazy because when I go, okay, say if I go and post something spiritual or motivating or encouraging on social media, literally my friend circle have been the same. Like most of the people I know, we've been cool since like third grade, second grade. And some come from Mo City, some come from South Park because my life literally was back and forth. And they just like, Deja, like you a totally different person. Like literally, I was back in the day, I was fighting dudes, like straight legit fighting dudes. And people would never like if, to know me today, people like, who? Not you. And like it literally takes for my mama to like to tell them like she ain't always been like this. So I don't think it necessarily have to do with the change of environment. I think it has a lot to do with the change within me, like just getting closer to God, having my mama go through the toxic relationship to make me get to know God and be like, well, I always knew him, but have to depend on him. I feel like that's what changed me and molded me into the young lady that I am, to have the standards that I have. I ain't lowering my standards for nobody. If you can't get with it, so it's just,
So, would you say, as a younger woman, no, let's say younger girl, you were angry about things, which is why you were fighting a lot, or what was going on at that time?
So at that time, it's so weird because it was more so like a lot of my fights were with dudes because I had huge breasts before I had a breast reduction. And dudes being dudes, they was just so stupid, and they'll just be getting on my nerves. They'll say, let me come lay on your pillows. Can I feel your pillows? Just stuff like that. And like, I was already like you said, had anger from household stuff. And I'm just like, so one of the dudes was like, I know you hear me talking to you. And he threw a bottle at me. Boy, I spazzed out on him. And that was really like, from that point on, nobody really messed with me. So the only other time is I made the dance team, and it was these two twins that didn't make the dance team. And they kept telling me they was going to fight me in my bus stop. So I said, okay, get off the bus. They ain't there. But they was waiting for me that following morning by my bus when the bus dropped me off at school. You know, the two doors, they open. So they was on side doors. I didn't really see them. But my intuition kept telling me something ain't right. So I had already had people meeting me at the school because it's two people. I ain't finna fight two people. I can, but I'm not. And so, lo and behold, I didn't even see them. They came for me, and my people came up behind them and handled it. And from that moment, I was just like, you know what, fighting ain't even necessary. I think that's when that transition in my mind just started. Like, this ain't it. You too pretty for this. You too, like, you got a whole life in front of you. Yeah.
Man. Oh my gosh, Deja, I didn't know these things, and I just feel like, dang, I feel like I could relate. I didn't have big breasts until later on. I got, but boys would do stupid shit like that. I remember boys would like smack my ass. They would talk about my ass being like flat, or just make fun of my body, and I just felt so like horrible, especially as a young girl. Like, you don't want that attention. You're not interested in men sexually at that age. So, and even though you're fighting them, because I've had to like knock a couple guys out with laptops, hit some people with some sharpened pencils just to protect myself against guys, like really bullying me, like
Yeah.
it's crazy, terrorizing.
That's the term, if you want to be honest.
Yes, but terrorizing me, spitballs, all types of perverted shit, and it does harden you. How did it affect you in that way? Did it make you like an angry woman towards boys? Maybe a tomboy, not as girly anymore?
I think that it made me more. Okay, so I started developing breasts at the age of 4. By the time I was 8, I was in a B cup. So I literally have been dealing with issues from boys ever since the 3rd grade. Like literally, I literally had to call my mom one day in 3rd grade and be like, this dude went under the table, went under my skirt, and touched me, and then he grabbed my boob. So we literally had to call the police up there and everything. So I think by the time I got to 8th grade, I was just like, you know what? I'm thinking like we too old for this at this point because it's been going on since 3rd grade. You know, kids childish, but 8th grade, I'm like what's really going on? And so I was just like, what? But 9th grade, that's when I started realizing I was like, okay. Not only are these people getting on my nerves talking about the boobs, but they hurting. So maybe I should just get a breast reduction to, ease all of the issues. And so I did that, but my doctor had let me know because of how big my breasts were, it was going to affect my hormones in a major way. So I think that's really when things started happening for me. It wasn't necessarily when I had them. Like I could literally feel myself going through a depression. I had the scars. Nobody told me I had keloid skin. And so the scars were bothering me. I had to ask myself, am I still pretty? It was times where I wanted to cover the scars up with tattoos, go to a tattoo shop. They was like, oh, you have to wait 5 years after your surgery. So when the 5 years got here, I didn't even want it no more because I didn't, grew myself into I've approved myself and loved on my own self. So I don't even want the tattoos anymore. But I think that was more so where things started affecting me the most.
Wow, girl, thank you for sharing that. I know a lot of friends who have really, really big breasts and at a really young age have big breasts. They deal with a lot of sexual abuse and sexual assault like that, and it's not okay. I think sometimes people justify behavior like that with people can't help themselves, but it's I don't know. What would you say in that subject?
Yeah, because I have a lot of people who just say, oh, that wasn't my intention, or oh, I can't help myself. And so my thing is, you need help. Like, if you know you can't help yourself, go get the help. I'm serious. Because I just seen this post on my sister sent me the 14-year-old where the dude was finna shoot up the pep rally at Hightower, but he put it on Instagram first, and people from the school saying, "Oh, he have a mental issue," and so just how y'all have a special ed section, y'all need to have a mental section. There's no reason in the world why people with special ed issues can't mix themselves with regular kids, but people that y'all are aware of that have mental issues can. And then I feel like the responsibility is on multiple people. It's on the parents. It's on the educators. It's not only on the child themselves, because at the end of the day, they're children. So I think it just needs to be a better job done with people taking responsibility and owning their actions.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. All right, Deja, what would you tell the younger you with the wisdom you have today?
I would tell the younger me that I am beautifully and wonderfully made, and I don't need the validation from anyone or anything but God Himself. I would tell my younger self that you don't have to be so strong. It's okay to cry. And don't give up. Just keep pushing, keep moving forward. And one of the sayings I say now that I wish I knew back then was keep sowing. Because even the sower gets tired, but he shall reap his harvest one day. And that's what I always tell myself whenever things get hard and things get tough. I say, keep sowing, Nana. Keep sowing. Your harvest is on the way.
I love
And I
it.
wish I knew that then, because, baby, yeah.
Yeah. And what advice do you have for other young people who have dealt with parents going through domestic abuse, kids from the hood like South Park, kids who are dealing with abuse, people in school, you know?
As far as kids dealing with toxic home environments, I would literally just say, find your comfort. What comforts you? And and surround yourself around that. I would also say be strong for yourself and for whoever is, going through the domestic violence issues, because a lot of times those people can't think for themselves already. Like, they in a situation, but they can't get themselves out because they can't even process what's really going on. So a lot of times it just necessarily took me, praying for my mama, praying for my sisters, praying over our home because she couldn't pray for herself, you know. And then, as far as the South Park, really anywhere, because now in Missouri City, like, it's shooting going on every single night by my house. People are getting killed, and I just really want to. I would tell them, put the guns down. Like, it's really not that crucial. I promise you. Like, the problem is people scared to fight these days because they can't fight. But it's just simply put the guns down. Like, it's too much going on, and it's not necessary. Like, once you kill this person, what you doing? You going to go sit behind bars for the rest of your life? Like, what? Like, what is that? That's not life. So it's just like I just need people to start thinking, like, common sense, man, common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the last one?
Oh, I was gonna say, and for people experiencing the same like harassment and abuse.
Yeah, just you gotta speak up for yourself. Like, a lot of people know me. Like we was just talking about, we're shy, we're quiet, but when it comes to certain stuff, like, even if I ain't finna speak up to you, long and behold, right after that boy did what he did, I went home and told my mama, and I know my mama gonna handle it. Cause even though I'm in third grade, I knew it wasn't right. I just said, Mama, a dude went under my skirt and touched my private area. In third grade, I knew that wasn't right. So I just say, speak up, whether it's to the person at hand or going to the police later or going to your parents or somebody. You just got to speak up, because if you don't, it's not only going to happen to you, but they're going to feel like they can do it to somebody else. And then the cycle going to keep going and keep going and keep going.
Very brave young woman. What do you know your purpose to be here on earth, Deja?
I know that my purpose is to help women all over this world, to help girls, mentor young girls. I have a young lady that I'm mentoring right now. She just got a domestic violence relationship, and it literally took us a lot of planning because the dude wasn't even working at the time, but I guess bills got backed up and he started going to work, and we planned to get her and her daughter up out of there. And one of the things I tell her is, identify your purpose, because once you identify your purpose, you gain a sense of power that nobody can steal from you. So I think just helping women understand their purpose will help women gain their freedom, help women gain stability. And that's just really my main goal. I know that that's my purpose. I know that's what God has called me to do.
I love that. I love that.